Greetings, I'm Professor K, and in this short video presentation, we're going to take a look at what it takes to create a Rules of Engagement document. The Rules of Engagement, or the ROE document, list out the specifics of your penetration testing project to ensure that both you and the client and the engineers working on the project know exactly what is being tested, when it's being tested, and how it's being tested. So again, the rules of engagement, and how does it differ from a statement of work? The statement of work defines what will be tested. The ROE defines how that testing will occur. There are two different aspects which need to be handled independently from each other. So make sure you understand the difference. Now, depending on what framework you subscribe to, that will determine what parts are actually included in a Rules of Engagement document. Some of them are going to have more sections, some of them will have few. But at a minimum, you should have the following: a timeline, the type and scope of testing, client contact details, client IT notifications, sensitive data handling, and status meeting and reports. The timeline for the testing should be established for the engagement. Again, the statement of work will define the start and the end date of the engagement, but the rules of engagement will define everything in between. As the testing progresses, timelines may change. The timeline allows everyone involved to clearly identify the work that has to be done and the people who will be responsible for that work. Type and scope of the penetration testing. This can be the methodology, either as a black box, white box, gray box, or you're going to use some specific framework. For instance, if you were testing applications on a web server for vulnerability, you may want to use the Open Web Application Security Project OWASP framework. Client contact details. And so you're going to need a contact list, full name, title, and operational responsibility, authorization to discuss details of the testing activities, if not already specified. You'll need two forms of the 24/7 immediate contact, such as a cell phone, pager, or home phone if possible. One form of secure bulk data transfer, such as secure FTP or encrypted email. You're also going to need contact information for all the different groups that make up the IT department. Gather the following information about each emergency contact, all penetration testers in the test group for the engagement. You need all of their contact information. The manager of the test group. 2 technical contacts at each target organization. 2 technical contacts at the customer. 1 upper management or business contact at the customer. Sensitive data handling. Very important, and this is probably going to be testable. Important to take extreme care with the data. Always use encryption and sanitize your test machine between tests. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that you wipe out the machine, you reinstall the operating system, and the tools that you're going to be using for that particular pen test. I've had to do it 100 times. Make sure you never hand out USB sticks with test reports at a security conference. Do not reuse a report from another customer engagement as a template. You may leave something sensitive in the report without even knowing it, so make sure you use a clean template. Status meeting and reports. Regular meetings should be scheduled between the testing team and the client organization. Now, if you're working at night, you're going to schedule those meetings in the daytime. If you're working in the daytime, you're going to schedule those meetings for at the end of the day. Organizations should confirm whether their detection systems have triggered and if an alert resulted from the penetration test. Testing teams should document the time when the test was conducted. Now, these meetings can get a little heated, so make sure that you stay in control, because every time you find a vulnerability on somebody's server, they're going to be upset with you and they're not going to want to accept your findings. So make sure you bring your validation, which is your screenshots and your other proof. These meetings should be kept to 3 concepts: plans, progress, and problems. Plans are generally discussed so that the testing is not conducted during a major unscheduled change or an outage. Progress is simply an update to the customer on what has been completed so far. Problems should be discussed in the meetings, such as shunning. If you're testing a system and you are detected and you get shunned or blocked out from that system. If it's part of the test, great. If it's not, then you have to bring it up and have it discussed about how you're going to be able to get into that system to test it if they keep blocking you. Time of the day to test. Certain customers will not allow you to test during the daytime, and they will not allow you to touch their production machines. It only makes sense. They don't want you testing something that's going to be brought down and then nobody can do their work. So they're going to ask you to come in late at night or after working hours to conduct those tests. The time of day requirement should be well established with the customer before testing begins. Permission to test. This is very important because this is going to be your get out of jail free card. Pen testers will often be asked to perform duties that would be considered illegal if they did not receive proper authorization beforehand. For instance, you may be tasked to test the situational awareness at a remote bank or a remote location. You are to go to that location, and using what you know about social engineering, you're to slip by their security and get access to their telecom devices. If you get caught, they can call the police on you. That's why you need to have a permission to test or a get out of jail free card. Depending on the scope of the pen test, you can be asked to slip by the physical security to include the security guards. That's going to require that you pretend to be somebody that you're not, such as a delivery person, whether it be for packages or for pizzas. So if you get busted by the security, then you're going to have to be able to explain exactly what you're doing, and for that, you will need your get out of jail free card. All right, let's do a little quiz. An assessment has been completed, and all reports and evidence have been turned over to the client. Which of the following should be done next to ensure the confidentiality of the client's information? A. Follow the established data retention and destruction process, reporting any findings to regulatory oversight groups. Publish the findings after the client reviews the report. Encrypt and store any client information for future analysis. Let's see what the answer is. Answer is D. Encrypt and store any client information for future analysis. A security consultant receives a document outlining the scope of an upcoming penetration test. The document contains IP addresses and the times that each can be scanned. Which of the following would contain this information? Well, we've already discussed that. That's going to be the rules of engagement. The answer is A. What is the last step in preparing a rules of engagement document? A. Conduct a brainstorming session with top management and technical teams. Decide the desired depth for the penetration testing. Have pre-contact discussions with different pen testers. And the answer is A. Conduct a brainstorming session with top management and technical teams. So in this short video presentation, we got to learn the difference between a rules of engagement document and a start of work document. And we also got to look at the different parts that make up the rules of engagement document. So regardless of which cybersecurity exam you're going to take, make sure you know the difference between a start of work document and the rules of engagement document and the specifics to each one. I'm Professor K. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.